All right, starting off with an 18-inch breaker bar, switching over to the big old half-inch impact here. Bauer, good old Harbor Freight, zipping it off. Tire is stuck. Beating it a little bit with a dead blow. Ended up getting it off with a sledgehammer. Now we're on to the caliper, the slide pins. Just get your basic wrench back there and knock that bad boy off. There's two. There's an upper pin here, and there's going to be a lower pin, which I'm not sure you're able to see in the camera, but we'll be able to see it right here. Yeah, sadly, they were seized to hell and back. Ended up replacing the whole bracket, which you'll see moving forward a little bit. And you see a little bit confused look on my face here because that brake housing did not want to move at all. Ended up having to get a flathead screwdriver and a hammer, knock that off. See, I got it loose, took it off. Those little hooks are just hanging basket hooks from the Dollar Tree. What a hack there. 2 for $1.25, and they're great for hanging up your brakes because you don't want that hanging there and just putting all the stress on the brake cables. Now I'm just going to loosen up and wiggle out those brake pads there. And like I said, they were so bad. All 4 tires gave me an issue in one way or the other. I'm the second owner of this truck. It's a 2014 F150. I'm hoping that I will do a better job taking care of it than the last person, because all 4 brakes had slide pins that were seized up. This one needed a whole brake pad bracket replaced with new side pins. Look at those pads. The rear pad was almost gone, and the front pad was, almost new, it looked like. Sad. But when you see the back of this rotor, you'll understand that it was just getting tore up. And like I said, all the pins, just a mess. So you'll see here, once again, too, every rotor completely seized up. And like I said, I've only had this truck going on 2 years now. So the person before me, I'm not sure. And we don't put a lot of miles on this truck. We got this truck for work, jobs around the house, and traveling. Clean it up. Now, the other thing I did with that wire brush is I took it all throughout the back there and cleaned up as much rust as I could so we can fully film it. I got this brake pad setter tool from AutoZone. You can rent them. You give them the money, they give you the tool, take the tool back, you get your money back. It is free rentals, but as you'll see here, it's the double piston. So I ended up needing a second tool, which luckily I have a cheap Walmart brake piston setter, which is great. And I actually used that for the other 3 tires. I didn't even use the AutoZone tool. Didn't need it at all. But it was nice to have it just in case. But as you can see those rust spots on my frame back there, surrounded by some of the pretty black of the frame still. I've already had it coated with fluid film. This year I'm going to get it recoated again. So those rust spots are a little duller now because when the tire was off, I got in there with that wire brush and really cleaned them up. To make them look the best they can make them look, so that whenever we cover it up again, the fluid film will stick in it here and help prevent rust over time. Because Pennsylvania weather's a lot of salt, a lot of winter. You need this truck to last as physically long as possible. So when you're setting these pistons, it's nice to use one of the old brake pads to put against the caliper pistons there, and set it back into place that way. So as you'll see here, I'm going to work one piston at a time. And like I said, I'm going to eventually get that second tool to help push it back evenly. But man, I didn't show any of the off-camera stuff, but as I'm setting this in the video, I was torching, oiling, wrenching, hammering, anything possible to get the pins to even budge on this housing for this front passenger side tire, and nothing worked. Eventually gave up, ran to AutoZone, just bought a brand new bracket. It was just well overdue. The other 3 tires, I was able to, with a little bit of lube and a little bit of elbow grease, I was able to get the pins out. And I took those old pins out, Cleaned them up really, really good. Cleaned out the innards of where the slide pins slide in and out with. Greased them to hell and back. Pulled them out. Cleaned them. Re-greased them. Put them back in. Quite the process. This ended up being a 2-day job for me. I did both the front tires one day. Did the back tires a different day. Now, the back tires are also a little tricky because they have the emergency brakes that are lumped inside the rotor, which, I was all seized up obviously too. So just, once again, if you're a DIY guy, if you're a dad, a mom, or whoever at home trying to save some money, be willing to put some time and elbow grease into it. And I will say, and I say at the end of the video here, I'm like $750 in with everything that I've had to put into this. But I guarantee you, if I would have taken this to a shop or a dealership or wherever, parts and brakes alone would have been, $1,200-$1,300. Then labor, I'd probably save myself $1,000, if not more, doing this job. And this is a skill I like to do at home, and eventually pass on to my children as they become young adults. All right, continuing forward here, you got some good old anti-seize here. Now, for me, I do like to put this over the wheel hub here. But just be careful as best you can to paint it on there without getting it on the bolts where your lug nuts go. I think that's real important to not get on where those bolts go. But definitely going to cover the wheel hub, that knuckle there. And just as you see, I'm painting it on. I did this all 4 tires. As I took it off, cleaned some of the factory grease off the rotor there, and then boom, throw a lug nut on, and begin to reassemble here. Now, brake jobs aren't that hard to get the tire off. It's 4 bolts. You got 2 big mountain bolts, and I believe on this F150, the 2014, the 2 bolts that hold on the brake pads right here. Those are 2 18-millimeter bolts. And this is where I begin to hit the struggles of seized slide pins. You're going to see in this part right here, I managed to get this thing put back together. It goes back together really easy. And if you work on cars, I'll tell you one thing. Working on a truck with a wheel well of this size is amazing. Talking about having the room to work. It's just fantastic. So I get this whole brake pad mount put back together here, and then I'm gonna realize, and I should have checked this obviously before I began reassembling anything. I should have checked those pins because I usually always re-grease them anyway. So maybe this was a sign from the heavens, because sadly, I'll admit it, I wasn't gonna re-grease them here. I just wasn't thinking. Sometimes you get in the zone and you miss a step. And thankfully, a sign from the heavens came down and gave me a seized pin and reminded me that I need to grease all my slide pins. And after I come to that realization, you'll see in the coming videos that that's not the same painted red brake pad. See, new mount. $45 later. Now I will say another blessing that came from the pins is when I went back to AutoZone, realized they were still running the buy 4 rotors or buy 2 rotors, you get free brake pads. So as I said at the end of this video and earlier on this video, where I spent $750 on parts, I ended up going back to the store. The man working was lovely enough to go ahead and return all my products for me, and then allow me to repurchase them. So instead of being at $750, I ended up being only at like $530 after I used my store credit and everything that I've saved up for being a rewards member. So talk about some blessings. Just when you think things aren't going the way you need them to go, or things are getting a little bit tough or a little bit hard, there's that little bit of happiness and blessings shine down and to remind you, hey, double check those pins. And when he went back to the store, I was lucky enough to save a bunch of money. And you'll see I put a little bit of brake grease here This is the outside of the pads where you're going to have metal on metal. These Duralast pads come with new hardware, so I put new hardware into that bracket there and greased up the metal on metal where all my brake pads will meet, and was driving this bad boy around the other day. No shaking, no vibrating, no squealing, squeaking, or noises to be heard. It's been a lovely truck for us the last few years for housing projects and camping and traveling that I hope to show more of on the channel and get back to doing more the tube of you and bring you guys more of me. So enjoy this, the rest of this video, and I'll chime in if I need to. So this happened a lot with me on all my tires here. The lug nuts were continually getting jammed or weren't fitting right in my socket. So it's a 21 millimeter socket. Some fit, some didn't. It was weird, and they're not in terrible shape, but the replacement that I got for the one that I mangled on my rear tire because it got stuck and I beat it out with a screwdriver, the replacement fits so much better. So not sure if it's a lug nut issue or what, but see what happens in the future. Well, hope you guys enjoyed the video. I mean, I'm not a mechanic. I'm just a guy who saves money by doing it himself. Now, granted, new brake pads, new rotors all together, around $700. Having to go out and buy the bracket for the brake pads, another $50. All in all, I'm at about $750. Labor and costs like that, you take it to a shop or dealership, probably paying around $2,000 for it all. So I probably saved over $1,000 easily. Best part is AutoZone. If you get your brake pads from AutoZone, lifetime warranty. You go buy them, you put them on, you take the old ones back, they refund you your money. I buy them once for all my cars, never buy them again. Rotors, 2-year warranty. This is important. 2-year warranty only. Mark it on your calendars, mark it on your phones, reminders, whatever you need to do. If you take them back within that 2-year period, you'll never buy another rotor again. I have mine saved in my phone for a few months, like 3 or 4 months ahead of expiration date. I'll change them, I'll return them, do it for free. It's worth it. Saves money in a long way. Do it yourself, learn to do it yourself, and enjoy, guys. Please like and subscribe. Take care, guys. See you later.